Hey guys, and welcome to Pixel Cherry Ninja's channel. In this video today, we are going to have a look at guilty pleasures, my wants for FPGA gaming, games that I would love to see come out for the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket, but I know that they are no good. Now I'm starting this video with Haunted Castle because this was one of my guilty pleasures, one of my wants that I knew wasn't a great game, but I still wanted it via FPGA. And Hotego brought this game over to us like, I don't know, a few months, maybe even like a year ago. So we have this, but this isn't the only janky, terrible game out there that we want. There are more. I'm gonna go through 5 that I really want to see on FPGA platforms. And in the comment section, guys, I want you to tell me your biggest ones. Games that you know are bad. No one liked them. You were the odd kid out. You were the kid playing those in the arcade when everyone made fun of you. But you know what? The time has come. Let's talk about those games. I want to go through my 5. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, then a subscription and a like is always super duper appreciated. Let's look at some bad games. Let's begin with this game. So Rastan, everyone knows Rastan. Rastan is one of the greatest arcade games ever made. When I think arcade, there are a few games that always come to mind, and Rastan is one of them. So when we heard Rastan the sequel was out, yes, we all wanted to play it and we were expecting big things. Now, I was kind of happy with this game. I played this in the arcade, and when I played this in the arcade, guys, there was like a row of, it wasn't an arcade where I played it actually, it was like a newsagents or somewhere where it had like 5 or 6 arcade machines just kind of in a straight line where you could play side by side. No one ever played this game. I was the only one that played this game. This game just spelt disappointment for everyone, but I still liked it. Now this game has a great soundtrack. I absolutely love the soundtrack for this. I think it is banging. When I played this in the arcade, I only ever played it for like 1 credit, and that's what we generally did in the arcade. We didn't continue because when you played with your 1 credit, you started from the beginning where the game was a little bit easier, and then you would die. Now if you continued at the point where you died, you would only last like maybe a quarter of the time, or you would get a quarter of the play time that you would if you started from the beginning again. So I really like this game. With 1 credit, I could get through past the first boss and onto like the second stage. And in the second stage is where this game really begins to suck. The way the levels are laid out, you're kind of jumping down. There's very precision jumps where you're kind of getting off the platform, and like the last part of your heel is what is keeping you up, right? You should really be full if it's following the rules of physics correctly, but it's not. But this is a janky game, and yes, I want it. I know it's not a good game, and I never say this is a good game. This is a letdown, but this is a part of my childhood. This is one of the games I played, and I enjoyed this game. I really enjoyed it. Later it came out for like the PC Engine and the Mega Drive, and I think it was like the title was changed to Nastar, which is just an anagram of Rastan. Hopefully it is. I haven't jumbled all the letters around, but it does look like the letters for Rastan are jumbled around. Now, I would love to see this. Love to see this come out for the MiSTer, the Analogue Pocket. Anyway, whether it does or not remains to be seen. You know, as time goes past, more and more arcade games are getting released, and I certainly hope that this janky title does get released. Now, this list of 5 games I've got aren't in any particular order. I will tell you which game I think is the absolute worst out of the 5. I guess the other 4 you can just tie as joint second place, or however you want to see it. But let me know if you guys played Rastan 2 and what you thought of it, and definitely let me know about like your biggest janky games, man. Here we go. Here's the first boss. You fight the boss and you fight different mythical creatures. Also, you could play 2 players in this game, so that made it fun. It was just a palette swap. So player 1 was what you're seeing here, and player 2 was like a darker variant of the same character. Anyway, let's move on to game number 2. The second game that we are having a look at is a game called Pit Fighter. Now, when Pit Fighter was released in the arcade, this was the game where, well, do you remember when you went to the arcade? For those of you that are old like me, pensioners like me, we went to the arcade when a new game came out. The people that had money would be around there playing that game, and everyone, you would have a crowd around the arcade machine, and you got that once in a while. You got it when Street Fighter came out, you got it when Mortal Kombat came out. Man, I even remember Primal Rage. When that came out, there was a crowd around the arcade machine having a look at that game. Pit Fighter was one of those games. Now, it looked great. It had like real actors, like acting stuff out. Those images were digitized and put in this game. You could pick out 3 characters. You had like a wrestler, you had like a Thai or a kickboxer, and you had like a martial artist in here. So it just, everything about it looked good on paper. But when you played it, guys, it wasn't a great game. It just really wasn't a great game. But it was fun. I like this game so much. I bought this for a Mega Drive and I played it on the Mega Drive. Now, if I remember correctly, I don't know if you could play 2-player co-op on the Mega Drive version, but you could play co-op in the arcade version of the game. So it was a lot of fun. And when you kind of won, like you saw over here, you were on top of a forklift where it kind of weighed you in gold, and you fought like lots and lots of different characters. This guy here that you fight, like, he's got a blade, man, and he's trying to stab you. And what's really cool as well, when you go to the edge, the crowd just push you in or push your opponent in. And this is Ty. So the first character we looked at was Buzz. We're looking at Ty. Now let's look at the third character. And the third and final character you can pick is Kato. And Kato is a little bit of a woman beater. Actually, he's not. Whatever character you are picking, you get to fight this foxy lady. And this is what made the game so great. It was the graphics. It was having these big sprites on there. But honestly, guys, this is a janky game. And yes, I would love to see this come out on our FPGA platforms. Who knows whether anyone will take up the work, whether we'll ever see it, or whether I'll just be destined to continue playing this on emulation. But either way, Pit Fighter is awesome jankiness at its finest. So at the beginning I said I can't put these games in order, but I can tell you what the worst game is out of the 5, and it is this one here. This is a game called Final Blow, and this game blows, but I have nostalgia for it. Even though I know this game sucks, I only played it in the arcade a handful of times, but I always used to hear it. It was always around in one particular arcade I went into. It's where I played Street Fighter 2, The World Warrior. It's where I played Ninja Turtles. It's where I played Superman. I played a lot of games there that I liked, but those were the heavy hitters that I really liked. And this was in there. I remember playing it. It looked good. The sprites are big in this. The characters are big. Everything about it just felt like a good game, apart from when you try and play it. The game is just pure balls. If you like the game, or if you ever figured it out, let me know down below in the comments, because guys, I couldn't figure this out. I must have played this, I don't know, definitely once, definitely twice, maybe even 3 or 4 times, maybe even up until 5. It just looked really good, but guys, it's a bad game. Now this was repackaged as Buster Douglas Boxing on the Mega Drive, but it was the same game, just a different skin. But honestly, if you've played this game, it's made by Taito. It looks good. It just looks really good, and it looked amazing on the arcade CRT at the time. I really liked the visuals. It don't look so good on an LCD now when I'm looking at it, but I remember this just looking amazing on the CRT and having that imagination as a kid watching this game. But guys, the game is just terrible. You can pick out of like a whole bunch of fighters. We've got Detroit Kid and Dynamite Joe here, who reminds me of Flash Gordon, but this game is terrible. But I would still love to see an FPGA core, mainly for preservation, because we want to preserve the good games. We want to preserve the bad games and the ugly games, and I would just love to see this. I'll play it a couple of times, and with a few friends we can have a look at it and go, hey, do you remember how bad this game was? Guess what? I've got a cycle accurate representation of it. Anyway, yeah, Final Blow blows. The fourth game we are having a look at in this I want this janky game on FPGA video is Lethal Enforcers. Now, I was actually debating whether to put this game in there or not, because I kind of liked it, but everyone always said this was such a janky game. But honestly, for the whole part, I really liked it. Just the language, like, I'm gonna get you copper or something along those lines, and you kind of, it feels like a very fun, fair game. You've got the hostages popping out. You've always got bright dressed colored ladies just kind of running along saying, don't shoot me. Now this game was fun. It was released by Konami in 1992. Yes, it's a light gun shooter, and the crosshair that you can see on there, I actually filmed this video on the Retroid Pocket 5 using RetroArch and the Final Burn Neo core, and I was very surprised that it gave me like the crosshair, which I could control with an analog stick and play it that way. And for the whole part, I'm not doing that bad. I'd probably do worse with a light gun. Actually, I do better with a light gun. So you're set in modern day Chicago, where you're like I think a police officer fighting these criminals, and a lot of these a lot of the baddies remind me, do you remember the TV show Sledgehammer? The blonde guy there, that is Sledgehammer. If you remember that, then you're as old as I am. But this was one of those games where everything was digitized, the same way that we had it in Pit Fighter, Mortal Kombat, all those games there. Now, there's a bit of controversy around this game because it was regarded as very violent at the time. But hey, look at where we have come with the violence. There's nothing I've seen in this game that I would, not let my kids play or do, at least from like the playthrough and the parts that I've seen. So yeah, this is a janky game. It's a light gun game, and it's definitely a game that's worth bringing over to FPGA with a light gun. It would just be amazing. And look at the variation in stages you've got. So the next one, you've got a picture of an alleyway with all those things popping out. We're going to get the door open, and I just shot an innocent victim. That police officer that pops out on the left hand side of the screen, you can shoot him in the behind if you really like. There is some kind of penalty there, and you can pick up guns Operation Wolf style, and the reload mechanic is shoot off screen and you can reload. So Lethal Enforcers, yes, it's one of my janky ones, but what I'm really interested in, guys, is like, what do you guys think of this game? Did you think it was gold or did you think it was jank? There you go, Sledgehammer again. I just killed Sledgehammer, and that's the lady I'm talking about with that bright provocative dress on, running through a war zone where gangsters and Sledgehammer is shooting at you. The final game we are having a look at here is Street Fighter 2, the movie. This is based on the Street Fighter 2 movie, which I think was released in 1994, maybe 1995. And yeah, it's based on that. The movie was jank, but when I watch it now again, I absolutely love it. You know, when something is so bad, it becomes good. Same could be said about the game. It's a bad game. It's Street Fighter. It's not exactly Street Fighter, but it feels enough like Street Fighter to be Street Fighter. Now, I like this game, and when this came out in the arcade, it was the same thing. The way people gathered around Mortal Kombat, Pit Fighter, Lethal Enforcers. Wow, man, I've just realized that most of the games I want on FPGA, or most of the janky games I want, were like FMV games, or games where they kind of filmed people, took pictures of people and turned them into animation for games like we're seeing over here. Now, this footage that you're seeing here is captured via Fightcade Replays. If you haven't checked out Fightcade, check it out. It's a brilliant piece of software that lets you play the entire Final Burn Neo ROM set, lets you play Dreamcast, aka Naomi games, as well as like Mega Drive, Super Nintendo, and various other like consoles and arcade systems. It lets you play them online. I just wanted to get some good footage for this. So this was released in 1995. It was developed by a company called Incredible Technologies and published by Capcom. So I guess Capcom outsourced it to someone that was better at doing these graphics rather than cartoony ones. Now, don't get me wrong, the cartoony graphics, or the pixel art graphics like we have in the CPS1, the CPS2, the Street Fighter Alpha games, they are definitely the best ones. That's how the game, or that's the way I like seeing the game. But this is something I would love to see. Look at that, we got Jean-Claude Van Damme there in the background on the screen, and I think this will make an excellent addition to the already awesome catalog we have on our FPGA devices, such as the MiSTer and the Analogue Pocket. Now, I think the arcade version had like 14 characters. It had all your usual, your Ryu, your Ken, your Chun-Li, your Guile, but it also had a character that was exclusive to the movie called Sawada. Now, I know the version on the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation had more characters because, yes, I have been playing it on the FPGA cores of the Sega Saturn and the PlayStation. The game is very similar to Super Street Fighter 2 Turbo, but only in the fact that it has like a super bar and it has some of the mechanics from that game. It feels like a completely different game. But yeah, this is definitely one of my biggest janky ones because, hey, I like Street Fighter games in general. I even like the EX games. I like the janky ones. I like the good ones, the bad ones. I was one of those people that even enjoyed Capcom Fighting Jam or Capcom Fighting Evolution, depending on what part of the world you're from. But that's it for my 5, guys. Like, the worst one out of the 5 that I have shown you is Final Blow. The rest of them I kind of enjoy more than Final Blow because Final Blow really blows. But yeah, definitely let me know down below, what is that game? What is that arcade game that you liked and all your friends made fun of you? They said you're a complete and utter moron for wasting your money on this game. Let me know because I'm interested, and if there's enough there with these janky games, maybe I can do another video or a live stream even having a look at them. But that's really it for this video, guys. Stay awesome. This is Pixel Cherry Ninja out.